Well, what's up? Hey, hello, everyone. Wow, so it is a wonderful Wednesday evening here on the West Coast when it should be Survivor time. It's almost 8 o'clock Eastern Standard. So we are going to be doing an in-depth analysis of who we think can win Survivor Season 34 Game Changers. So my name is Rachel.
And I'm Alyssa, and we're really excited to be sharing our winner picks with you. And we were going to be making a video about how to complete a slide puzzle, but the weather in Maryland has not been very good for being outside, and we've had a lot of cloudy days, so not a lot of good lighting for shooting videos. But we hope we can get that to you soon, because solving slide puzzles is an essential Survivor skill, and it's actually really easy to learn. So,
Exactly. Yes. So we will jump right in. We are going to be doing not really some math in this podcast like in other podcasts, but we'll just be going through some like analysis of past seasons and then talking about this season of Survivor and basically analyzing who we think can win this all returnee cast of Survivor. So going off of like past seasons of returnee seasons, like a majority returnee, so like a fans versus favorite or an all-star season, we have looked at these winners and we've like sort of compared it to who can win this season. So Season 8 All-Stars, we see Amber won. Season 16, Fans vs. Favorites, Parvati won. Season 20, Heroes vs. Villains, Sandra won. Season 26, Fans vs. Favorite 2, Cochran won. Season 27, Blood vs. Water, Tyson won. And then Season 31, Second Chance, Jeremy won. And then on like the other returnee seasons where Survivor might bring back like one or two people who might have been medevaced or something like that, we have Season 11 with Guatemala, and Stephanie got second place. Season 22, Redemption Island, we see Boston Rob won the game. Season 23, South Pacific, Coach was runner-up, and Ozzy made it really far in that season. And then Season 25, the Philippines, Scoop and Todd for runner-up.
Yeah, funny thing about Scoop, and totally unrelated, I think he got arrested recently.
Yeah, but he was charged.
Yeah, returning players obviously tend to do better than new players, just because I feel like it's one of those things where experience definitely helps you. So the people who made it further in the game before are more apt, I think, to go further this time. So
yeah, so I guess we'll start with who cannot win this season, of like the people we think have not much of a chance to win, to state it bluntly, pretty much.
Okay, I feel like we have to start with the really obvious one, and that's Sandra. Like, no one's going to let her get to the final tribal, and I feel like if she did get to the final tribal, no one is going to hand her the $1 million for the third time.
Actually, do you want to go through your list of people who you don't think can win, and then I'll do mine, because I put Sandra under maybe win.
Well, I guess we can just both talk about the same person, because I feel like most of my can't wins are your maybe wins.
Okay. So yeah, Sandra, I was like maybe, and like all the people I put under the maybe category, it's sort of like someone who it might be harder for them to win. It's not like a straight line direct path. Like it's more difficult because they have these obstacles. Obviously, Sandra would be a huge target going in. Same with like Sari. I put her in the maybe category because obviously they both know the game really well. They've played multiple times. Sari came really close to the end as well. So I feel like they definitely have the minds like to win the game, but I feel like based on like the tribes and like just like who they are and their name, like big name, like it's going to be difficult for them to make it to final tribal council, and I feel like the people on the tribe won't let them get that far.
Yeah. So you put Sandra under maybe win because she has that big like star power thing with her. Yeah. And then continuing on with people I don't think could win, I said that Jeff Varner couldn't win. He's not really a challenge beast. He doesn't really have much of a strategic mind. He doesn't really have a great social game either.
Yeah, so I put Jeff Varner, like Brad Culpepper, Troyzan, like sort of in like the probably can't win category.
Yeah, I would agree with all of those. Just I feel like the guys with the bigger personalities in this game, like Jeff and like Brad Culpepper and stuff, people want to see more of like a strategic game with this, and the people who are kind of there just because they're interesting characters, I don't feel like will do as well in this season, just because people were supposed to get here by being game changers, not by being interesting personalities.
Yeah, I think like some of these people are more like, yes, they're good TV, but I don't see them winning the game. Like they might get far in the game, but I don't see these people winning the game. So I also have and probably can't win. I put like Ozzy and Ty and Zeke for the males as well.
You said that Zeke probably couldn't win or Zeke wouldn't win?
That's in like the probably can't win. So the bottom category, not like the maybe, the lowest one.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I feel like most of the winner potentials in this season are the girls. That could just be me, though.
Same though. I have majority like females in like the top 2 tiers of can win this game and then maybe can win this game, and the majority of the males and the probably can't win, because I feel like looking back, like there's definitely a sort of like archetype stereotype of like people that win these returnee seasons of Survivor. And so finally rounding out my probably can't win category, I put Debbie, fan favorite Sierra Dawn Thomas, and Michaela.
Yeah, I agree with that also. Just because, like, I feel like Michaela falls under the whole big personality thing. And then some of them are just like, why are you even here? You're not actually a game changer. And I feel like recently on Survivor, there's been a big trend towards like making the season a lot about like the title of the season. Like with Millennials versus Gen X, they really like pounded home the whole these are two warring I guess ways of being. And then with Second Chances, everyone had their like this is my redemption story type thing. So I feel like it would be a shame if they let someone who didn't really change the game win a season called Game Changer. So a lot of the people that were saying couldn't win would also fall under that category where, yeah.
No, yeah, I feel like under a lot of the people under the probably can't win, like we've been saying, are sort of like big personalities, like good for TV, but because of this, like I don't know, I just don't see them winning. Like no one wants to vote like a Brad Culpepper to win the game and win $1 million. Same with like maybe like a Debbie and like a Troyzan. Like these people seem a little bit like too like out there personality wise to like relate to too many people, like in like a legitimate sense. Like people might be like, oh, you're funny, like let's keep you around, but I feel like they're not taken like seriously enough to actually win the game. And like speaking of Michaela, I also put her under sort of like a wild card category this season, along with like Caleb, Troyzan, and Zeke, because I feel like with Zeke and Michaela, definitely people have not seen season 33, so they don't really know who these two people are. So it could work in their favor or it could work against them with like pre-gaming and no one wanting to work with the person that you've never seen actually play the game. Caleb never really did anything on Co-Wrong because he was medevaced, like barely. Did they go to tribal council one time before he was medevaced? And then Troyzan, I feel like he's a very forgettable person from One World, maybe. So I feel like those can be wild cards.
I feel like they could also be wild cards because we as the audience can't really predict them as well. Like both Caleb and Michaela never made it to the merge, so we don't really know their strategy game all that well either, especially Caleb, because we saw Caleb never had to go to tribal. But it's one of those things where, like you said, it can be a double-edged sword where people might not want to work with the people they don't know. And it's one of those things, better a devil you know than a devil you don't. And I feel like in a season of all returnees, that might work against them more than it otherwise would.
Yeah. So I guess that we can move on to who can like maybe win this game. I have 5 people, so I put Caleb under maybe win this game because he is familiar with reality TV. I think if you do like one reality TV show and you go to another, it's like Big Brother to Survivor or The Amazing Race to the Survivor or like vice versa. I think it really helps people like with the whole strategic mindset. And you've played like reality TV before, you know what it's like to be filmed 24/7 and do like challenges and stuff like that. So Caleb definitely could have the potential. He did fairly well on Big Brother, so I put him under maybe winning.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But again, it's one of those things where, like, Caleb also has a lot of connections, which could be used against him in this game. And since we haven't seen him play Survivor all that much, Survivor and Big Brother, I feel like, are different games just because Survivor is just as much about, like, surviving the elements as it is surviving other people, whereas Big Brother is more focused on your social game than anything.
Yeah, nice house for like 90 days or whatever. So, like I mentioned before, I put Sandra and Sari in the maybe win the game. Like they are really big names, but I think like they have a chance to win this game, whereas someone like Ozzy, who has played a lot, probably has a lesser chance to win this game as like a Sari or Sandra. So just like that whole mentality, maybe like they could go pretty far, but I don't know if Sandra could win like a 3-timer.
I think that Sandra couldn't win just because, like, it's one of those things where you don't want to make the only 2-time winner of Survivor also the only 3-time winner of Survivor. Like, if I was sitting on a jury member, or as a jury member, I just, like, that would give me the heebie-jeebies.
No, yeah. So I think even if Sandra goes like early or like obviously does not win the game, I think like her legacy definitely will not be tarnished. I think because she has the whole first Survivor contestant to win the game 2 times when like you have only played 2 times, like that will definitely live on. And I don't think like that whole like 2-time winner thing will be like downplayed or whatever. Like, you know?
I feel like the only way that Sandra could, like, lose her legacy would be if someone were to somehow win 3 times, and I very much doubt that happening.
Yeah, because even if someone wins a 2nd-time winner this season, like Sandra was still the first one to do it, so she would still be like the famous one because of that. So also under maybe win this game, I put Aubrey and Sierra. I think like both of them very strategic, both made it far. Sierra made it far, or like she did well in Second Chance, I feel like. And I feel like, I don't know, both of them could technically win the game, but I don't know. Just like there's like social game and like who they align with and stuff like that, it seems like sort of detriment right now.
Yeah, I feel like both of them, the fact that they did do so well before might hinder them. But I think that they're both very intelligent and they could both, like, play that to their own favor. And I think it would be really interesting to see the 2 of them work together.
Yeah. Do you have anyone else in this category, or shall we move on?
I say we can move on because I didn't really do the maybe category. I just did can and can't.
Oh, we like to be optimistic. So I sort of not really divided, but I sort of have a category of a sort of stereotype winner of like these kind of returnee seasons of Survivor. Like we were saying, Amber, Parvati, Sandra, they're all sort of like underrated females who did like decently well their first time, but like they don't have those threatening vibes, I feel like, so it allows them to get far their 2nd or 3rd time and potentially win the game. And then with the males, I think the male we see with a Cochran, Tyson, and Jeremy, it's someone who is smart, like they made it far the game and they're like very likable. So I think like out of the people we have left, for females who fit this kind of stereotype, I think Andrea has a really good shot at winning the game.
Yeah, I think Andrea does too.
Yeah, so like Andrea, she's like very good at Survivor. Like in Redemption Island, she was one of the only people who wanted to vote Boston Rob out and wasn't just following him willy frickin' nilly. And she was voted out with an idol the 2nd time. So I feel like this third time playing, she was on 2 sort of ratchet seasons, and like the second time we saw like her gameplay really evolved, and I feel like Andrea, she has a shot if she doesn't get like so caught up with like the boys and like relationships on the island.
I feel like, honestly, a lot of the fate of this game depends on who you align with at first. So I think it'll be interesting to see whether or not the alliances we kind of talked about in our previous video will come to pass or not, because I think that alliances will definitely make or break this game for a lot of these people, especially even the people that you listed on your maybe list. I feel like that will also determine for them whether the maybe begins to lean towards a yes or no.
Oh yeah, definitely. So also under females, I think like a Haley Ford or the cop Sarah have a good shot. Both are like good at the game females. They're like thinking in the game, and like they both know how to play, obviously. And like you were saying, I feel like with these two, definitely they need to align with the right people. We see Haley voted out because she's in the minority, come merge with like the Joe Anglim and Shireen and Jen alliance, and then we see Sarah blindsided. So
that was her own fault though, because she was being a flippy
in the
flopper.
middle player. So yeah, I feel like just like they need to like have a solid alliance, and then I think they can get far and potentially win the game.
Yeah, they need a solid majority alliance though.
Yeah,
just like you
majority.
said, Haley got voted out because she was in the minority. So
yeah, so I think those are the 3 females that can win, and then going to the 3 males that I put, I think JT, Malcolm, and Tony are the 3 top running males right now, and that would be very interesting because JT and Tony could be like the 2-time winners.
yeah, and I feel like part of that also comes down to in season 8 in All Stars, they definitely had a winner's bias where they were like, oh yeah, someone who it can't win again. But that was a little different because that was only 8 seasons in, so the majority of people weren't winners, if that makes sense. But like, I think it'll be interesting to see whether or not they have a winner's bias, because if they do, then that would make Malcolm, I feel like, really the only viable male candidate.
No, yeah, I think man, I forget what I was gonna say, but like Malcolm, yeah, I definitely think he can make it far. He has a lot of connections, and like I don't know, he's definitely good at the game. He's played this will be his 3rd time, definitely. And definitely for Malcolm, I feel like there are a ton like larger threats than Malcolm himself. So like Malcolm can be like, oh, let's vote out an Ozzy or a JT, because they're sort of, all 3 of them are sort of like the Joe Anglim kind of like attractive, athletic kind of guy stereotypes. But I think Malcolm could be more of like the one that gets the bigger names voted out for him. And even with the JT could be like, we need to get Cerise, Sandra, Ozzy, all of these big names out, and then JT's the last one. And Tony could be like, I played it one time. That was a fluke. Like, I'm actually not that good at the game. I'm not making these spy shacks, and I'm not, like, finding idols left and right. So,
you see, I feel like all of the winners, it's dangerous because all of the winners have someone else who's played with them before, like, with them. Like, Sarah and Tony have played together. JT and Sari have both played with Sandra, and it's like, they can all attest to each other's like strategic prowess, and it's like, it's not like Sarah's gonna let Tony slide by with the that's a fluke thing, because Sarah knows that Tony's like a strategic mind and stuff like that. So it's like,
yeah,
I feel like maybe if they had a winner and they were the only person from that season who ended up being on there for whatever reason, that might work. But since they've all played with other people, I feel like playing dumb won't work for them.
Yeah, I think Tony is very good at the game. He can definitely like figure out how to like align himself in a way and propel himself to final tribal council. And that would be super cool to see, like a Tony 2.0.
I think it would be the most interesting to see would be like a final tribal council between 2 previous winners. Like Tony Sandra or Tony JT or JT Sandra.
Yeah, that would be. Who's going to get the second 2-time title?
Yeah. Of course, I very much doubt that that's going to happen, but it would be a cool thing to see.
Yeah. So I think that rounds out our who can win the game, who can maybe win the game, and who cannot win the game analysis. So if you guys have guests of your own, comment down below. We want to know who you think can win the game and who you think cannot win the game. And we'll probably see you guys later this week with our Survivor Slide Puzzle DIY.
Yay!
Yes.
So we'll see you guys later. Bye.